So good evening everyone. This is sixth session for programming in Java, the NPTEL course, and today we are going to discuss array and array list. So in the last session we have stopped at the polymorphism part, not the abstraction part. We haven't touched the abstraction, which include abstract class interface. After this array and array lists, few concepts, basic intermediate concept we go along with. Then we will start with the abstract class. Okay, so let me start sharing the screen. I hope the screen is up now. I think it's up from my side. Uh, okay, so we will talk about arrays. That these are one of the basic data type structure which is provided in almost all the programming languages, which store multiple values of the same type, right? And it usually uh, is any array starts with the index 0 and it will go till the array length which we have defined minus 1. Okay, so it's 0 to 4. So now if we want to declare an array in Java, there are multiple ways to it, but mostly the two ways are there, where we use square brackets to tell to compiler that we're trying to declare an integer, so trying to clear an array of a specific data type. So either we can bring the square brackets just after the data type, or after the variable name of that array. Okay, so these are the two basic type of variable declaration. Now if we want to instantiate an array, that means we have to provide certain values, or we have to provide the size of an array. So this is the how it should do: int square bracket, the name of the integer, new int, and the size of the array. Now this format can be look similar to the object creation, where we also look the class name, class object, new, and the string build, again the class name followed by the parenthesis. But only difference here is the parenthesis will invoke a constructor, but here we are looking at the square bracket. So here we are looking for the square bracket, so it doesn't invoke a constructor, but it will just specify the type of the size of the array. Okay, now but if we try to do that after this array 10, in this case, if we try to put parenthesis here, it will try to give an error, even though we thought we provide this size. So this is not the syntax in which people deal with. Okay, so these are common few things that I just want to highlight. We will start with the coding part also. So one important part of the array, which is make it differentiable with array list, is array is not resizable. Array list is resizable. Okay, so we don't have to worry about the array list size, but with array we have to specify it beforehand. Okay, and there are few way method to how to initialize the values in the array. So let's look at them one by one. Rather than on slides, I will just start directly on the coding part, and then we can look how it will work it out. So uh, let's go here. So I've created a folder. So I'm just creating a Java class for now. Let's say main.java. Okay, so public static void main. Okay, so if we have to create an array, so one of the ways that we have seen on slide is int square brackets my int array, and we have to provide new int and the size of the array, right? And one of the ways to write any values to these arrays is by looking at the index position. So in this case, my int array, if I want to add something at the first position, which is the index 0, I should provide certain values, and my int array in the second position I will provide certain values. My int array at the fifth position, let's assume, so I will provide 100. Okay, now if I want to print directly print it out, uh, if I just write printer system dot out dot println, and if I just pass it out my int array, let's see how it will output it as. So since it will take some time for building. Okay, so in the meantime while it builds, uh, let me define also the another way of initializing the array apart from what we have seen just now, right? So we just declare here, the part of declaration is happening. Here we are trying to initialize certain values at certain positions, which we have manually mentioning which is which positions we have to do that. I think why it is not running. Okay, it's still running. Okay, starting is taking a lot of time. Okay, uh, so another way to write it down is, so I will just write just a minute. Why it is not able to do the main class. Okay, just a minute, I will stop the screen. I will reinstart my uh, ID. I think it's not able to run the Java itself. So just give me a minute. I'll just stop sharing. Sorry for this disturbance. Just give me 2 minutes. So it's starting. Just uh, yes. Any? Yeah. If you have any question, please tell me. In the meantime, my ID is getting open. Someone has raised the hand, so they can ask me if you have any questions. Okay, I think some issue has been there. Okay, I will create a new project. Just a minute. Session 6. Okay, I think my ID has started, so I have to create a new project for that. Unfortunately, that project has some error. So let me share the screen again. Okay, just give me 2 minutes. I will just write what we have till what we have written. Public static void main. I think my computer has become very slow. Okay, just let me write public static void main string. We'll talk about string args also in today's session. Uh, so yeah, so we are talking building an array. So my int array equal to new int 10. So I have created an array with size 10 and I have initialized certain values. Int 0, 45, my int array square brackets 1, that is at the second position I provide certain value. My int array at sixth position I will provide certain value called 100. Now I will just try to print it out. System dot my int array. Okay, so let it run. Okay, so it will, I think, still will take time because I think my computer is becoming slow. But now the another way to write this array or initialize this array is I'll just write my int um, let's say second array and equal to new int, let's say 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is a second way of telling sorry space. So this is a second way of initializing an array where I have to okay, I can even remove this 5 also. So what it will try to do is uh, int array it will give followed by name. Okay, then new int array. Now if you want to specify directly any number of elements that you want to have, you just write it down in with the help of curly braces, and it will try to Java compiler automatically will calculate the size of the array based on the values provided here, and through which you can create you can create this second array. Okay, now important thing here, uh, so for the earlier code that we have written system.out.println my int array, so here you can see that the output that is coming right now is certain IDE here. Okay, so this IDE is basically the memory location of the first element. So for this int array 0, it is trying to provide. So how to print an array with respect through multiple ways, we will look into that. Okay, so right now we create a second another array. So let's create one more type of array. So let's say int, so let's say for first 10 numbers, so first 10 numbers I will create one. This is a third way in which you can define an array. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now if you run like this will also perfectly run fine. So if I just write system dot out dot println, and I'll just write, let's say, sixth element. Sixth element, if I want to know, I will just write first 10 and I will give fifth position. Because the index starting from 0, so sixth element will be the fifth position and should print out uh, the value 6 out of this. Okay, and another thing about this kind of initialization is, here we are creating something called as anonymous array. So this part is usually script in the line number 10. So whatever we're presenting in a curly braces, it is the anonymous array which is trying to present this new int part, and then it is trying to allocate this anonymous array to the first 10 variable name that we are trying to provide. Okay, so that's the difference between these three type of declaration. And while the code is building, let me write few more things. So if you want to know the length of the array or the last array, last element of the array, so you can directly use length of array. So we can write first 10 dot length. Okay, just, I will look into that later. Okay, so dot length is just a parameter which provides directly the length of the array, right? Similarly, system dot out dot println last. If I want to know last element, I just need to say first 10 array length, sorry, first 10 dot length minus 1, semicolon, and ideally it should run. Okay, so in the meantime, while it is building and running, I think I have to restart the system with when we take a small break at that point of time. Uh, so as of now, we have seen three different ways in which you can declare and initialize an array, right? So that the next basic stuff is println. Why this is giving me so wrong things? Okay. It's within SRC only. Start. Okay, the issues that I'm getting right now, somehow it's not able to attract the Java thing. Public static void main. There should be not an issue with respect to this also. Hmm. Main, this part. Print ln is should be working. Okay, it's working with me, not println. Java print.io, Java IO star. Let's see. So the current issue I'm right now getting here is it's not able to identify the println. So let me see. I imported certain packages. It should help it out for now. Okay, I think I'm getting few issues with respect to my, so I'm not able to run the Java. Okay, so what I will do is I will just pre-open the existing codes. I will just try to explain for now. I might not able to run it because I have to restart the system for this, which I will do at maybe when we take at 7 o'clock. Uh, in the meantime, I will just show you the code which I have written earlier, which we can use it for discussion. And I have shared this code things earlier with you people also in the chat box. So if you can see here, I have just pinned it down, so you can look at that part. I hope everyone can see uh, the course that I have shared earlier. So please look at that. Okay, I think, let me see whether I can run this code also or not. Okay, let me just try to run this part. Okay, so in the meantime it is building, and let me see whether my ID is working correctly or not. Uh, okay, so let me start with the main. So we have defined certain integer arrays, and we define manually certain values, right? That is one way. Similarly for double also you can try it out. So double square brackets my double array new double 10, it will create an array of double, and you can print it out specific terms with respect to it, right? So another way of doing this is the line number 15, uh, which we have seen earlier in the code that we have earlier written writing, that you have to provide new int square in the RHS along with the array that you're passing. But the third most simplest way is you just pass on the anonymous array, where you just don't need to write new int. The Java compiler will automatically will take care of that. Now if we just try to print this part with the first element or the last element or length of the array using dot length attribute, it should run. Okay, interestingly this part is running. So okay, let me then discuss this part only. Okay, now uh, now this and now if you want to declare an array, you will just simply can do this. So this just declare the array, new array. So int square brackets and new array, line number 22. Okay, but now if I just pass on this new value, that is I try to assign new array the values to new array with an anonymous array, it should give an error. So let me write it down. Sorry, let me run this part of the code. So what we did this, we the line number 16, uh, the way we have written, right, we just divided that into two different lines, and we trying to see that whether we can pass on the value like this, the way it is happened here is anonymous array, whether we can pass on here also. So ideally it should give an error because it is we can only pass an anonymous array during the declaration part only. Okay, so here the problem of illegal start of expression will come into picture. Okay, So we have to define it properly. So if you want to do like this, that you have defined an array and you have declared the array, and then you have to pass on the value. So you have to provide this new int square bracket, which can help the Java compiler to understand that, okay, we are creating a new array and we are storing that to the variable called new array. Okay, so this, if you run this, this will run pretty much fine. Okay, another part is, thus now the new array, let me, so we go with this part where we are just defining the size of the array, we are not telling anything. Okay, and if you want to print uh, and if you want to define if you want to just print out an array in the backward wise, so this is one of the code written here. So this code will try to line number 26 28, it will just try to print out the array, uh, print the array from the largest position to lowest. So if I try to run this, so what it will do is, it will take I2 is starting from 0 index with the 1 less than new length array, and from here it will uh, try to provide that the starting position based on the whatever the length value is, it is providing the values whatever the length minus the ith position. So it is decreasing one by one and try to print out the array. Okay, so this is the output. This is our 54341. Okay, so this part of the code, line number 29 to 32, is actually printing out this thing. Here we are just storing the value in new array um, brackets, square brackets I. Now there's another way to write it down. So this is the same array loop that we have written, which is commonly written by everyone. So there's another way to write it down. This is called as enhanced loop, enhanced for loop. Okay, so where you're just providing only the int element and colon and array. So let's try to dive into what is this. So the element here is just like an incrementer I. The I part that we are seeing here in line number 29, we are trying to use that I as a one of as an incrementer, whose value will be changing all the time. Okay, so here the element is the one. Okay, now new array is the array that we are passing, is the actual array we are trying to pass. Now this enhanced array is basically enhanced for loop is basically what it will try to do. It will by nature it will increment an element one at a time, increment the element one at a time. So this is can be only used for the scenarios where you are increasing the element value one by one and you're traversing the array one by one. Okay, then only you can run it. So this 54321, the one I'm highlighting right now in the output box in the below, is coming from the enhanced for loop. Okay, so it just provide a more simple way of writing here, and also observe that there is something called as colon. So this is another syntactical difference that you can find, because above it is mostly semicolon aspect play into the role, uh, but here it is much more cleaner, much more cleaner look. It will provide the code where you don't have to specify much thing, only the element, the incrementer, the array, and it will since it will increment one by one, you can print it out the elements from the array. Now important thing is here, if I can here in the above line number 29, I can do I equal to I plus 2. So it will only print print after two elements. So it will take only alternate elements to print, right? This thing we can't do in an enhanced for loop. So that is one thing to be taken care of. So this enhanced for loop is one of the new things which if someone don't know, you can try it out. Now another way of writing, printing the array, right? If you don't want to use the for loop, then how you can use. So in earlier sessions, you might have seen this something called as toString method. This toString method is also available for the array class. So this by default, Java has this collection of arrays which provide the functionalities to support the arrays in the Java. So this java.util.arrays, from here there is a function called toString new array. So system.out.println arrays.toString new array. If you do this, the same output will come. Only difference is you will get output in a certain format, that is square brackets, and you're dividing each and every element by a comma. So this is something automatically taken care by Java, and here in one single line you can print out the new array. Okay, now this is one more thing, since as you might know by now that object is the root class in Java, and everything that you are trying to derive, any classes or any be it the integer, float, the primitive data types, or the string class, or the arrays, or the array list, and all this, these are just derived from the object class. Okay, so now because of this, uh, you can store the array value in an object variable also, of object class. Okay, so object variable is a object class variable. Okay, now using this, you can also find you can also check out that whether the object variable is an instance of array integer or not. So this is just one way of looking into it. So uh, you can also define the array from the perspective of an object as well. Okay, so this is one aspect here. So if we do this object variable instance of integer, so it is checking that the new array, the reference that we are providing to new array in the name of object variable, whether it is an integer array or not. So to do that, we use the keyword called instance of. So once we use this keyword of instance of, if this statement is true, it will print out this statement that object variable is really an int array. Okay, now another important thing is, uh, apart from the array in the integer aspect, but in general, an an, uh, an array can store multiple arrays as well. Okay, so in by default that we see in primitive data type, we just see the values related to that primitive data type, like int for numbers, string for uh, string variables, string values, and all, right? Similarly, for multiple, if you want an array, you can store multiple arrays as well. Okay, this is different from the two-dimensional, three-dimensional array that we will come later in few minutes. But here, if we just provide object array with the square brackets, provide the name of that array, that is object array, new object 3, that it can store 3 values. Now here you can store, since object is a parent class, is a root class for all of the classes that we have in Java, you can, in this array also, you can store multiple different type of arrays or different type of values. So in this case, it's hello, it's a string variable, string value we can store as the first element. Second element is a new string builder world. So it using the string builder also, again you're trying to store the world value, and then new array. This is the array that it's an integer array that we have seen till now. Okay, so let's print it out. So system.out.println, and arrays to string object array. And if I run this, it should show that an array can also store different type of values apart from. So usually you're seeing that array can store of a specific type, that is true only for uh, the primitive data types. But when it comes to objects, when you deal with the classes of objects, this is basic classes of object, there you can look into this. So now what is happening here is, you hello and world, this is strings, so they are working pretty much fine. Here we are providing new array, which is the array part, but here it's a memory address of the array it is getting passed, not the whole array itself. Okay, so we will see how we can add those new array, the whole new array, which is considered 54321, into this aspect as well. Okay, so first let me ask you if you have any doubts in this part as of now. In the array introduction part, we'll go then more deeper into this. Okay, code link if you want to share. So I'm pinning it again. So okay, anyone has any questions as of now with respect to this? Okay, so if you have any, please type down the chat box, otherwise you can unmute yourself and ask. Now let's look at few more things within the array, that what are things that we can do. Okay, so this is the different file. Um so in this aspect, uh, so we have written a function called random array, okay, uh, to generate an array randomly on its own. Okay, so we have defined it as private static int uh, integer, which returns an integer, and the function name is get random array, and we are just providing the length of the array. So so when we are calling this get random array, we just have to specify the length of the array, and everything the function should take care of and should return me a new array. So how we are doing that? So we are doing with the random class. So with the random class, we are creating an object called random, uh, which and then we are creating a integer array named new int. Okay, and we are passing this len value. Okay, so based on whatever len value we are having, then it is so we are starting the for loop, so from 0 to the len minus 1 basically, and for each instance we are randomly selecting, using the random object, we are selecting a random integer between 0 to 100. So the values will be chosen from 0 to 99, not 100. It's choose from 0 to 99. Now once we have this, we will get the new int um, new integer new int array, and then we'll pass it out. Okay, so this is how the get random function, get random array will work for us. So this is a manual design value, so that we don't have to design it for us all the time. Now uh, so the so based on this, we have created the first array of size 10. So we are calling get random array, and we pass the value 10 to get the size n. Now we will print it with array dot toString first array. Then it will, I think I will do one by one. I will just comment few things out. One by one I will come to each and every code. Let me better. Okay, so if I run this, now if I have to sort an array, I will just use the arrays Java collection function, which call as arrays.sort, and I will pass the integer array here. So, oh shit, I think I have chosen a wrong thing. Let me see, can I stop it? Okay, so okay, let it run. I will just run it again. Now I should run this. Okay, so if you want to sort an array directly, you can use Java collection of arrays, uh, and then you can use arrays.sort and pass the first array value, and then with the help of toString, you can just print it out the array. Okay, so that is one thing, one aspect into it. Then that it okay, so this is the initial random array, random array that we got, and then after sorting we are getting the second array, which I am highlighting right now in blue. Okay, so this is one way of sorting, right? Now, now you're generating with the random array. What if you don't want to write a random array? If you just want to fill with certain values, not zeros. So how you can do is, here the second array will come into picture. So in the second array, we are defining it with the size 10, okay? And then using the array.fill, we are passing the array, and what is the value that we want to print it out, what the value we want to keep for each and every element in that second array. So if we run this again, so the ideally answer will be here, the every element will be 0, and in the second element, in the after the arrays.fill command, we will get for every element we will get 5 5 5 5 5. So let's run this part, let it build. Okay, so yeah, this is the second array, that is I'm highlighting in blue right now, that is 0 0 0 0 0. Okay, and then after arrays.fill, we are getting everything is fine. So if you want to use certain things, you can specify array.fill function, fill function here. Now let's do something else. Now that will try to copy the array. So right now we will use copy an array. Okay, so now we are again creating a array called name as third array, but now with the function that we have written, random array of size 10. So we'll get an array with respect to that. Now what we want to do is we want to copy the array. So we want to copy the array in fourth array. Okay, so how we are doing is, so with the again arrays, the Java collection function, so there is a function called copy of. So using copy of function, we are passing the array which we want to copy and the length of that function. So once we provide these two values here, it will copy in the fourth array, and then it will the third array and fourth array will be same. So let's run this part as well. Okay, so now we got the third and fourth array as uh, same. Okay, now the next question is here, if I sort the fourth array, so using arrays.sort, if I sort the fourth array, will it change the third array as well or not? So because we have seen the concept of reference variable, so whether it is making the fourth array just a reference of the third array, or is it something that only fourth array getting sorted, not the third array? So to run this again, I'm running this command again. So array.sort, only was sorting the fourth array, not the third array, and we want to see whether the sorting part will be reflected in the third array also or not. So let it try it out. So if you have any question, please let me know. Okay, now yes. Okay, you want to add a new, you want to join two arrays, add two arrays. Okay, then you can take each and every element from both the arrays and then add it, and then the question is, then you have to typecast it to double, or you have to typecast it to integer, because by default if you try to, so let's say you have an array of double and array of integer. Okay, so if you try to pass the values of integers, you want to add the integer with the double. Okay, it will convert this value to double only, because by preference double is much more higher, so it will convert that. So if you want to keep it int, so whenever you're writing the code, so let's say double, and you're storing in a new array, I'm assuming like that. So the new array, and double array, which is the one that you are having, plus int array. So if you are having this, if you want to typecast, you have to typecast it, and then it should work pretty much fine. Okay, so this is how you can this line of code, if you write in a for loop statement, a new array obviously is new, it should work fine pretty much. Okay, otherwise if you remove this, it will be a double array. Okay, now so when we are copying off with the, yeah, I will come to that. No, it will add. It will add it, because it will you have to, you are converting them uh, to a specific, either you typecast here or here, or otherwise if you don't want that, typecasting has to be done here. Either you do it or the compiler will do it. If the compiler is not doing it, you have to do it explicitly. Okay, so otherwise you here you can do it. So double int array I, so whatever the value of int array I, it will just make it as a double. So that part is something either you have to do. Mostly I think if you're keeping as a double array, you don't have to specify the explicit typecasting, but if you want to keep it as int, you have to specify the typecasting openly. Okay, so coming back to the arrays that we're looking at. Yes. We will talk about that. Just give me a minute for that. Okay. Now the sorting array that we are trying to do here is by default, it's a ascending order, the one that you have questioned. So if you just arrays dot sort, if you do, by default it is doing the ascending order. So here you have to basically do a kind of reversing. So once you get the ascending order, you have to reverse it to make it descending order. There's no explicit function for uh, descending order for arrays as well, but for array list it is available. So we will talk about that also. Uh, so now we was discussing the copy of function. Okay, so whether the copy of function, if I'm passing the third array to the fourth array, and if I'm sorting the fourth array, whether the answer will reflect in third array or not. So in this case, the answer is no, it's not reflecting. So that means these are two separate copies, uh, and only the sorting part has been done on the fourth array, not the third array. Okay. Now, can we do, then the next question is, can we do copy of function only for, uh, uh, can we copy certain values from the array, not the whole, or to make it small array, or can we make it large? So these are the few things that we can try it out with copy. So the answer is yes. So if let's say third array has 10 element. Now you want to create an array called small array with only 5 elements. So can we do that? Answer is yes, you can do that. Similarly, you want to create a larger array of 15 elements and you want to copy third array. So can you do that? Answer is yes. So what will happen for the remaining elements? So let's try to run this code as well and see what the output will look like. Okay, so this is the last two ones is our consideration here. Okay, so it is creating the small array. So it is taking the top 5 elements, the first 5 elements from the array, third array, and is putting that in smaller array. Now for the larger array where the length is much bigger than the third array, what is doing is it is adding 0 values for it. Okay, so this is something it is taking care of by itself for this particular by the copy of function. So this is a few things which array provides for you, which you can directly use it without have to writing your code for that. Now uh, let's do one more thing. uh, if you want to find an element in an array, okay, so how can we do that? So for that, this is a simple example here. So we have created a string array called S array, where we have written the where we have written the some values like apple, cat, ball, elephant, dog. So they are in a not in a, sorted order. Okay. Now if you want to find any value, you have to use something called as binary search. So arrays element will automatically provide a functionality called binary search here, and using which uh, you can search a particular key. So, but the conditions are there are two conditions that we have to meet for. So to find an element using binary search, if you want to use that, if you don't want to write your own code, if you want to use binary search thing, so you have to fulfill two conditions. Two conditions. Um, the first condition is array must be sorted. Okay. Second, uh, now if there's a duplicate element are there, duplicate elements are there, then binary search might not exactly give you the element position. It will just give you the position of first found during it's based on its search algorithm. So if you want, let's say, uh, sorry, so binary element cannot exactly specify uh, which position which duplicate element you have chosen for. So cannot exactly specify which du duplicate element you are asking for. That means is, if I have here, instead of I have two instances of name dog, right? So one is at position right now fourth, and the one position at the fifth. Now after sorting, since it's a sorting, we are putting a dog come at the third and fourth position respectively. Now based on the binary search, whenever a new when you try to search for the dog, and you want that the first I want a specific I want the position of the first instance where the dog is coming. That is something cannot be assured by the binary search. Okay, so that is few conditions that you have to keep that in mind. So what we have done, so using array.binary search, we sorted the array string array using binary search functionality. We are trying to search it, and we are also providing the key which we need to find, in this case cat. And if it is found if it is true, and it will provide the found the cat. Also if the element is not found, so if the element is not found, it will return -1, -1. Okay, so it will return -1. That's why we are looking at whether the value of binary search is greater than equal to 0 or not. If it is less than, if it is minus, that means less than 0, so this condition will fail. So if I run this code as well, ideally it should say that yes, it has identified the cat, so it will print out found the cat normally. Fine. Okay, now till it runs, let's look at, before we take a 5 minutes break, let's look at the one more functionalities of array, that is arrays dot equal.
Sir,
Yes.
the words you have given,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
one of the word is bulldog, another one is ordinary dog. Which one it will change?
So if I add bulldog and
Only asking for dog. Then there is a word
huh.
apple, cat, bulldog, dog,
Mm-hmm.
elephant, like that.
Okay.
Go for a bulldog and change that as very motivation or
You want the position specifically, or you want?
yeah, specific.
Okay, so you just need to print it out. So if I just like let's say dog is there, right? It actually written the position only. It's just that I just haven't printed out that part. So let's say dog is there, right? So I will just put it out as system.out.println dog position. So it will, if there is no dog, then it will return -1. No, no, it will not consider. It will it doesn't search for substrings. You have to write different code for such kind of things. Substrings, then it will be something different. So let me still show it that to you. Okay, so in the meantime, it is building. Um So I just want to show one more thing, that is arrays dot equal. So let's suppose you have two arrays. In this case, integer array we have taken, and if you want to compare whether these two arrays are same or not, you can just use dot equal function, pass on the arrays, that is here in this case s1 and s2. So if they are equal, they will it will return true, and if it is true, then it will print array are equal. Otherwise, it will say array are not equal. Okay, so I have, yeah, so this dog position here. So the dog position is at apple, ball, bulldog, cat, dog. So it is at fifth position, but according to index it is at 4. So it is printing 4 here. So that's how it just array.binary set returns you the directly the position value here. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. And for the array part, the equals part, since these two arrays are not equal, even though not equal, because it has to be exactly same elements with the same order. So if it is there, then only this equal thing work, otherwise it will not work. Even though here the 5 elements are same as the S1, still it will not consider as equal. So that's why it is printing arrays are not equal. Okay. So till now we have seen basics of array, how to declare, initialize, as well as what are the few functionalities which Java collection of array provides us, be it array.sort or array.fill or array.copyof to copy the array, okay, or array.binary search, array.equals. So these are few functionality. There are much more functionalities are there which you can find in their documentation. Okay, so while after coming back, we will discuss few more concepts about arrays, and then we will jump down to array list. Okay, so if you have any question in the meantime, please let me know in the chat box. Okay, so it's 7:02 right now. We will come back at 7:07, and then we will start again with the few things of array, and then we'll go down to array list. So if you have any question in the meantime, please type down the chat box. Okay, I will come back to you in just give me 2 3 minutes. I'll come back to you and then we will discuss your doubt. Okay. Um, Welcome back. I think one of you is asking. So that uh, so if you have any doubt, you can ask me right now. Otherwise, that depends on what concept in which you have doubt and whether I have covered that in earlier sessions also or not. So you can look into that. So in the your NPTEL forum, you can find out the links of the older uh, session links, YouTube links, which you can refer based on that. Otherwise, you can ask me after the this session is over. Okay, like around 8 p.m. You can ask. Okay, so let's get back to the where we are. Uh, so let me see what are things I have to cover here. Enhance for loop, array to string, array challenge we haven't talked about. So one thing is about descending orders. Okay, so one of you also asked for descending orders. Let's look at that part once. And okay, few common errors that people do while coding the array. So that part, let's spend few minutes on that. So one of the common error people deal with is array index bound of exception. So let's say you have an array of array of 5 elements. You have written here 10, 35, 20, 20, 17, 18. They already have 5 elements. But if you want to add one more element, so it will cause this element out of bound because you have specified only the space for 5 elements. So anything before the index 0, that is index minus 1, is out of bound. Anything outside index element at index 4, it is also out of bound. Okay, that is one common error, index out of bound exception. Second common error is that you start your array with first, and that is at the index first, and but you are still keeping it like I is less than my array dot length. Okay, so that means it will only cover 30, 20, 17, 80. So that's how the output is coming here. uh, the reason being because your array always start from the index 0, so you have to specify the 0 here aspect. So that is one more second common error. It's a logical error. You will not find any exception here, but it's a logical error which many people fall into. Second one is also the third common error is this less than or equal to sign for array length. So here what you are having, you starting correctly from I equal to 0, that is you're starting from the index 0 for that particular array, but you're stating that I will go till my array dot length, which in this case is 5. But from 0 to 5, the number of elements will become 6. So that will also give you the array index out of bound exception. So till 18 it will work fine, but it will go for another round because the array value is 5. So till here the I is 4, everything is working fine, but the moment I become 5, because this condition is satisfying, but the my array dot I this will be, it doesn't exist because that location, that memory has not been allocated for that. So this is a third common error with respect to when you're declaring an array or traversing an array with respect to it. Uh, so that's why uh, enhanced for loop that we have seen earlier is can come into the help, where you just need to provide the element name which you want to traverse out and the array name. Rest of things, it will take care of it itself. The reason is simple because the for loop is basically, yeah, so the for loop is only looking for element first to last, and it will look only one at a time. Okay, and we are not any setting the value or assigning the value. So if you would just want to traverse, use the for enhance loop. Okay, so for this kind of processing. Okay, so another small concept, that is reference type and values type, is something I want to discuss. So we have seen this reference types in the concept of classes, objects where. So let's revisit this part again one more time here. So yeah, so here this is the code. So my int array is there. I'm creating a my int array with the 5 values, and I'm creating another array with the name of another array, and I'm assigning my int array to this array. So how it is happening in the memory is, so when the first line was there highlighted in red box, the memory and array, it was passed on like this. So this my int array variable will be linked to this array in memory where all values are 0. Now when you try to assign another array 1, it becomes a reference. So this part becomes a reference. So it will not create another array. It's different from copy. It will just assign this another array variable name. So this variable will also point to the same memory location as my int array. So this location will be same. So this part we call as reference. Okay. So this another array, we tell it as basically a reference. Okay, this is a more important part. So if we just try to print out the both the arrays, that's my int array and another array, which is actually same and point to the same location, it will give the same output. Okay, so what if we will try to change any one of the values? So in another array, first element, it changes from 0 to 1. So if we try to do that here, so in memory it will changes to 1, and if you want to and if you try to print out this part in both the arrays, it will be reflected because it's just a reference variable. Okay, so this is something I need to cover this part with respect to it. So another array what you are having is basically a reference type to the original array, which is called my int array. Okay, then uh, now this is the important thing that I want to uh,
Sir,
talk.
how is it
Uh, because here you're not creating a new instance or new memory for this another array, you're just linking this another array which you're telling as an integer to my int array. So this is just pointing to the same memory. If I write another array with this format, which is new int 5, it will be allocated to different memory. But here it is not been done like this. We are just referencing this int another array uh, array variable to the same memory location of my int array. Is it clear, or I have to shall I type it out to tell you difference?
sir? One is intact.
Mm-hmm. No, it's here copy is not happening. That's the difference. So the copy exactly the exact copy that we are doing is happening because of this functionality. This copy of here it will exactly copy the same array and it will store in a different memory location. Okay, this is how you can do it. But here, what you're doing here, not you're not creating a new memory location. Here the location of both the memories are same only. You're just pointing a new variable to that part. I think you're not convinced.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes,
Okay, okay, fine. So one question is, does Java has a concept pointers? The answer is no. Java doesn't have a concept of pointers. C, C++ have it, but Java choosing exclude that part. Okay. Uh, sorry. Yeah, so we are talking method as a array as a method parameter, right? So so we will usually pass array as a method parameters in most of the function, but let's talk about few interesting aspect about this parameter as well. So here we have seen that in public static void main we are passing a string of array, and that name of that string array is args, right? So this is a particular method signature that we are using, right? Now we can write it is a different way also, which is we call as variable argument. Okay, so this signature is slightly different where we are doing with the um, yeah, so string argument where we are typing with a string with 3 dots. Okay, now what how it is different from earlier is because it can take 0, 1 or more arguments if you pass this value like this. If you do if you follow this variable argument signature, we can pass 0 arguments or 1 argument, many arguments. But if you want to pass it as a string, it will not happen. So let's look at in the from the code, that will make much more sense. So okay, so right now we have a class we have named as var args, that is for variable arguments. Okay, and we have written public static void main and string instead of square, say square brackets that we usually see, we can write here 3 double dots. Okay, it will also compile pretty much fine. Now let's see how to differentiate it. So for that we have written one more function here, that is public static void print text. So which is also taking variable arguments. So it can take array of strings, but in a variable length. Okay, with variable number of arguments. Sorry. So we have passed like this, and we are passing text list as it is, and then what we are doing is, for each string that we are passing, we are just printing it out. So this is the for enhanced loop that we are talking about. So what irrespective of whatever the number of string that we are passing, uh, it will just print out that string. Okay, so let's see how it is happen. So let me comment few things one by one, then we will see. Okay, so the first statement is hello world again. Okay, so it will print it out pretty much fine, right? Now what we'll do is, we will try to create an string array with the help of this. So how we are doing this? So we are writing hello world again. This is our whole string, and we are dividing the string with the function called split. And then how it is splitting, the character is the blank character, the white space between the characters will consider as string, will be considered as a split. So it will be stored in string array called split string, and then we are passing this value to split string. So if I just run this thing down, again I made a mistake, I should run this, just a minute. Okay, so let it run again. So what will happen is, it will we will have three strings here in this string array. That is, one is hello, then second is world, and then third is again. So we are passing this string array to the print string, which we are passing as a variable argument. Okay, so I don't know why it is taking time. So yeah, so this of hello world again was the first statement that we are talking about, hello world again. And then the string array that we have passed upon with the help of split function, we have printed it one by one in the next line. Okay, so this is working pretty much fine, right? So where, how it is different, how it, this three dots are making it different. So let's look more into this aspect. Now what we will do is, now we have just passed a string array, now we'll just pass a string value. Okay, and let's see how it will happen. That is one thing. Again, instead of passing string array as a variable, let's pass string multiple strings one by one, um, to that. Okay, so multiples, we are passing three strings. These are not string array, but these are three different strings. So let's pass that also. So if I just run this again, okay, so after we have to see after dotted lines. So the hello world is printing again properly. Sorry, sorry. So hello world, hello, it's printing again properly, and then it is taking each string one by one. Now this is where the actual difference is happening. So let me show you again the difference. So this is a variable arguments. Okay, so it can take anything related to string, be it array or be it only string variable also. It can take individually. But if I change it to from this three dot to square brackets, that means I'm asking that I should only get string array only. If I just do that, and if I try to run this, it will show me an error. Okay, so what is trying to show here? So Java incompatible type, Java lang string cannot be converted to Java string array. Okay, so even at this line itself, it is saying that for print text hello, I'm not able to do that. So that's where the variable argument will come into picture, which is a property which has been given by the Java. So if you just provide 3 dots, it provides much more flexibility on the kind of arguments that you want to pass on into. Okay, so this is one thing. Then if I don't pass anything, so let's say here I have passed one argument, here I have passed 3 arguments. Okay, it is expecting string array if we just keep it down to square brackets, but with 3 dots, if I don't print, if I don't pass any value also, it will still work. Okay, so that is one more advantage of our arguments. And if I try to uh, okay, so this is something different, so let me run this part also. Right, now one more thing, uh, now if I want to join an array, that is, now it is string array is there, but I want only one single string directly. Okay, so how should I do that? So I can join all of these values into single one with the help of string.join function. Then I will also specify that how should I separate those values if I'm taking them. So I can do that with the help of comma. So let's see the output, how it will look like. And then this is delimiter, and the second parameter is the string array that we are passing on to. Okay, now one more thing, so hello earth again was working pretty much fine, but in the next line number 16, when we passed print text, we haven't passed any value, so it didn't print anything. Okay, so it didn't print anything that for that aspect, so it printed empty. Okay, so that is one thing. Now this are string array, if I just want to convert them to a single string, how should I do that? Using string.join, and I pass the delimiter here. So what if I do remove this delimiter? If I don't pass, if I just give any if I don't give any delimiter there, then what it will do, it will just append all these values one by one at the back. So it will just, based on that, it will create one string. So the one that you are seeing here, first comma, second comma, third comma, fourth, it will be changed back to uh, uh, let's see the output, you will get it much more understanding. So this is how it will append one by one, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Okay, so this is the variable argument power of so in this thing I just want to discuss this aspect. It is there mostly for string, not with any other thing. If I get for any other thing, I will just let you know, but I have seen mostly this type of functionality, variable argument functionality, only with the strings.
Sir,
Yes.
the repeat count will be
Hmm. Okay, so repeat count 20 we have introduced last time. So in this, what happens here is, if I want to print a certain patterns kind of thing, if I want to uh, repeat certain values again and again, I don't want to print them one by one, right? So here I just pass on the string which I want to print, and then with the dot repeat functionality, sorry, with the repeat functionality, I will tell the compiler that for how many times, that means 20 times I want to print this underscore. So based on that, it will print it out. So it will print this uh, this I'm highlighting the output, this underscore 20 times in the output. It is helping, have you are able to do that with the repeat function. So it's one of the functionalities of the Java itself. It's good for
print
doing this.
line.
Yes, yeah, if I write something else also, star or star s, something like that, it will work perfectly fine. So it's kind of for formatting the output. For that, repeat function has been given. Okay, one question someone had asked, what's the use of dot 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 after string? So this dot 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 itself, what we're talking about till now, it's the variable argument. This dot 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 specify that that is, instead of uh, ideally we pass a string array if you want to print some string, something like that. But this dot 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 will is just one of the syntax element where it tells that I can pass multiple arguments. That means I can pass 0 arguments, I can pass 1 2 more arguments, 4 multiple type of like that. So that is the use of variable arguments that we are dealing with here. Okay, so this is the variable arguments aspect come into play. Now let's talk about array list quickly. So I'm not discussing any other array challenge here. The code is shared, and I think and it's present in the doc slide, which has the PDF also shared in that link, which I've shared with you. So let's quickly jump to array list because so can we take delimiter as space? Where you want to take delimiter as space? Can you please specify? You can unmute yourself. Okay, so in the meantime they are answering. Let's jump down to array list. Um, okay, now let's talk about array list aspect into this. So let's see from slides. Okay, I haven't talked about nested arrays also, right? Okay, let me quickly go down to this aspect as well because it will similar to that. So let me show you directly via code. That will be much better. Multiple arrays. Okay. It's okay. If it takes time, I will maybe take the array list in the next session with the linked list aspect also. So uh, array. If you want to define multiple arrays, multiple dimension array, you can define using same way of how you define a singular array. Single array. That means you have to specify the brackets. So if it's 2D array, you have to specify 2 brackets. If you have it's 3D array, you have to specify 3 brackets, like that. And then with the help of new int, you have to specify the length of the array. Okay, so even if you don't specify length of that how many element will be present in each array, that will also fine. So this command this statement is also fine. Otherwise it will if you provide the length of each array also, that is also fine. So what does it mean? So first 4, that is 4 and 4 is given, right? The first 4 will tell the number of arrays, okay, that number of arrays you want to have. The second 4 will tell size of each array. Okay, so this is one of the things that we can look into. We can also define the multi-dimensional array in different sizes also, which we will come back to that. So let me comment out few of the things first. Okay, so let's first try to run this code first, multiple arrays. So ideally it should give us length, ideally it should give us uh, the value of zeros because we haven't specified anything. So it's a basically 2D array with each if with each array of of size element 4. Okay, so let's do that.
So shall we say that it's 4 rows and 4 columns?
Yes, exactly. So yeah, so you can see here the output is 4 rows and 4 columns here. That's true. Okay, so there's few things when it comes to if you directly want to print out an array, especially a 2D array or multi-dimensional array. First thing is if you try to directly use toString, which we have done earlier for the single dimensional array, uh, there at that point we can print the string directly, but here since we have 4 strings, so uh, 2 string will only provide the first element, the memory address of first element of all these 4 array. So it is providing that part. Okay, that's the one thing. Now array 2 dot length, if we try to do, it will just tell us the number of arrays we are having or the number of rows we are having. So if you want to understand the number of rows, that will much the array dot 2 dot length will tell only about the rows. That's one thing. But if you want to print out uh, each row specifically, then you can use the enhanced for loop. That means each you will take an outer as a variable name, which itself is an integer. So from the 2D array of array 2, it will take one array at a time, and then since it's a single dimensional array, we can use array dot toString outer to run this part. So another thing, if we just pass out array, not to array, let's see how it will run also. So here the difference between these two statements here are, I'm directly trying to print out the array without something, and here I am trying to print out the array with the toString method. So okay, so whenever we're printing out the array directly, it is passing out the memory address of that first element of that particular array. If you're using toString, it will able to provide us the that string value, whatever it is there, in a proper format. Okay, so I hope you can understand that why toString doesn't work for a 2D array or multiple dimensional array, but it works for single dimensional array. Okay, now let's do one more thing. Okay, now what we are doing is, if you want to print out in a different array the traditional method from which you want to try it out, so what you can do is, uh, the ith, you will take I and j, you will take a nested for loop. So for I equal to 0, array dot length, which is the number of rows it will tell. Okay, then you will pass array to I, that is the, you will try to give the first array to the inner array path. Okay, now how if you don't want to create the array or the syntax all the time, you can use the something called as var. So var is a keyword provided by the Java. So var keyword, because of var keyword, Java compiler automatically identifies its type. Okay, so it's a more like a generic one. So if you don't know what is the kind of variable that you're trying to pass in the for the inner array, what is this array to consist of, if you just pass var as a keyword, it will automatically identify that okay, it's the integer array that is trying to pass it out. So that integer array we are taking and storing as an integer array variable. Okay, then you're taking that integer array in the second for loop, you're finding its length, and then based on that you're trying to print out array to I and j. So this is how by default you do. So the new thing that you might have seen here is who are is something called as var. So var is a new keyword. uh, if we just specify var automatically, so whatever the value being passed on here to that particular var variable, it will the Java compiler will automatically identify its type. Okay, so if I run this, okay, so if we have first number of arrays, uh, then it's come down to 3D axis. So so one student is asking that if we have in 2D array, one is for rows and one is column, so what is about the third array that we are trying to deal with, right? So it's basically, then the rows, concept of rows and columns will be gone away. Here you will come down to x y z axis. So one might be height, width, or height, width, what else we will have? Breadth kind of thing. So here the concept of XYZ comes into picture. That's why I'm don't using the word rows and column pretty much in this place. Okay, so with the at the rows and columns just for us to understand. For the computer it doesn't make any sense anyway. So it's just like a three axis you can look into. Okay, so the question of that, what is var again? So var is a keyword provided by the Java. Okay, so I can use this var keyword to define a variable where I'm assigning the values of certain other variable whose data type I don't know. So what var will do is, so if the moment I put var during the compilation time, uh, the uh, the Java will try to understand what is the data type of an inner variable. So if see I have I just hover my arrow into the inner array, and I don't know whether you can see it here, but it is saying that inner array is of type integer array. Okay, so that var has been automatic, the Java compiler will identify this inner array type because of that. So you don't have to explicitly specify this. Okay, even if you specify, that is still fine, but usually it's a good practice for now for you to try this as something new with respect to var as well. Okay, and with respect to Kotlin, I don't have much idea that how Kotlin will work in this aspect. Okay, so now it has been printing, so it has print the way we wanted. So it is printing array to ing part. Okay, well and good. Now let's do something else. um, let's do, okay, now let's look at the line from 24 to 32. Okay, so now what we are doing here is, again, uh, we have the variable called array2, which we know it's a 2D array of integer type. Now but you don't and you want to print the same code, some 16 to 17, where we have defined I, j, and we calculate the length of the array, and then we are incrementing the variables and all. So how we can write the same thing with the help of enhanced for loop? Okay, so for the enhanced for loop, what we are defining is, we are defining a variable called var outer. So from the array, it will automatically identify that the first array that I'm going to pass down will be a single dimensional integer array. So so when I hover into it, it will identify that it's int array outer. Now that's the first thing. Now from the outer array, that is one dimensional array, again I'm trying to passing the element. Now what is the element type here? In this case it is int, not integer array. So it has and then I'm just printing out the element. So for each array I'm printing out the element with space, and then for the new array I'm printing out system.out.println. Now once I do this, the same line of code 25 to 30 is representing the same thing what we have seen for line number 16 to 22 kind of thing. Okay, so it's a much cleaner way to write it down. So if you're printing out this thing, so let's run this part also and see how it will work. Another thing, uh, another way to print out a 2D array or multi-dimensional array is something called as deep toString. So instead of toString method, we'll call as deep toString, and based on this also we can print our array. So let's see, wait for the output. Okay, now this, let me tell you what is what. So line number 32, deep toString, with the single line we can print a 2D array or multi-dimensional array. So it is printing the same thing in this highlighted part of the output as well, where it is taking in the form of list, multiple list form. We have, if someone has done the Python programming, you can see that this is usually used for list part. but it's not a list, it's just one of the format of printing out a 2D array, right? And the for loop, the enhanced for loop that we are talking about, this highlighted part of the code, for this is the output that we are getting, same as the above one. Okay, so these are few different ways in which you can print out your 2D arrays into that. uh, so there are 3-4 ways that we have discussed now. Now let's do something more. Okay, now let's assign certain values here. Okay, so let's assign, instead of 0 value, let's assign certain values. So for that, for each element uh, of of this 2D array, we are passing on these values I into 10 plus j plus 1. So whatever the value of I at 10 at that point of time, it will calculate this expression and it will put down for the particular element. Okay, now everything this will fine. We will see how it will print it out. So to print it out, from line 40 to 41 to 44, so we will use deep2string to print this array 2. So whatever the new values that we are calculating for each element, we are storing into the array 2, and then we are printing with the help of deep2string. Okay, now after this, what we can do is, since array 2 is a 2D array and it contains of four arrays, what we'll do is we'll change one of the arrays from the one with the second array, that from the array 2, and we'll define a new array into that, and see that how it is printing it out. So let's run this part. So here we have defined an expression for each and every element, and we are just printing it out. Now what we are doing is, so this is how this output look like. The expression that we have talked about, based on this value we are passing it out. So 1 2 3 4, that is 0 1 0 2 0 3 0 4, then 1 1 1 2 1 3 1 4, 2 1 2 2 2 3 2 4, like that. Now what we have done in line number 43, we are saying that let's remove this line I'm highlighting right now, 11 12 13 14. Okay, so let's remove this part. Okay. Let's remove this part and add a new array called 10 20 30. So Java in this case allows you, even though you have specified the values of 4 and 4, since the value is less than 4, it can allow you and you can print it out. Here Java is pretty much flexible about it. So at the new instance, if you want to change the an array element in this case by changing the whole new values, it can do that. And also you can observe that since we are adding a new array with the new memory, it is not taking 0 as a fourth element. Even though it's a 4 by 4 array, it's not taking that. So this flexibility has been taken care of by Java. So let's suppose if I try to include not 30, let's say 50. Let's say we try to want to add 5 elements. Let's see whether it will work or not. So earlier we have added three element array, new array. So let's see it will add 5 element array or not. It will add. Okay, so here what is happening is, even though we have defined the array with the 4 values, and all that, and we are defining the 4 value here, but it is not taking this part as strictly, that there is a length of each array. This part is not taking as strictly by the Java. Here it is pretty much flexible, and because of this, I can add 5 element. That's why if I don't add the size of each array in this case, it will work pretty much fine. So this is also a valid 2D array declaration or initialization. Okay, so that is one point. Let's see what else we have. Okay, so now let's create an array of objects. So object is a root class of a Java that we have discussed earlier also. So we are naming as any array, and it can contain 3 objects. So it's a single dimensional array. Okay. Now if we try to print it out, it will give us certain values. Now what we will do is we will pass down array 0. Okay. Array, the first element of the object array, as a string array which contains a, b, c value. Okay, and it will try to print it out. Then we try to pass any array, the second element of the object array, as the 2D array of string. Okay, and then it will try to print this part out as well. Then third thing, as the third element of the object array, any array, we try to pass down as 2 2 2 2 2, and then let's try to print it out. Okay, so and what we will also do is after printing out all this stuff, we will also say for each element, for each array object array element, we will try to specify what is the element type. Okay, what is how the element look like, and its values. Okay, so let's print all this stuff once. I think what I will do is it is starting from object new array, right? So I will just comment out all the above part. Let me run this. So again, we have created an object array with 3 objects, name as any array, and in that we have passed three strings array. One is the first element of object array is a 1D array, 1D string array. Second element is 2D string array, and third element is 3D string array. Okay, and as output is showing, it is working pretty much fine. It is allowing us. Okay, so the first instance of the object array was null null null. Okay, so this is the one point. So let me show where it works. Okay, so we have printed out line number 48. Println array to string any array. So it is showing null null null. Then what we have done at line 50, we have assigned the 1D array string to the new object array, and then we printed out that part, any array part. So it is showing that first object array is ABC and rest of them are null null null. Similarly, then we have printed any array string to any array second element of any array, which is a 2D string, and then we print it out. So in this line, the one I am highlighting, it's printing out the 2D array here, and then it is for third element it's still null. Then what we are doing at line number 60, we are defining a third array with an integer array, and it's a 3D part, and then we are printing out the whole array. So if we do this, it is showing, I'm highlighting right now, this is a 3D array, this is how it is showing. Okay, so what it specify that object array, any array, in this case here we have taken the object array. Here we can, even though it's a multi-dimensional, it's very much flexible about the kind of variables it can take into. Okay, the first is simple 1D array, the second was a 2D array, and the third was 3D array, and that is come down to one single object array. Okay, so this is something little might be little confusing, but at the same time I want to just highlight that it provides the opportunity for you to store different kind of data of different uh, uh, sizes in a particular single array of objects as well. Okay, then what we have done, that for each element of any array, we take one object at a time, and we'll try to understand what is its type. Okay, what it stores, how the toString method, and then we to the deep string. So the first element, in the first loop, when we run the first loop, our first element of object array was string array. So it is storing the string array. The second line shows the ID of the starting location of the string array, and show the ABC as the value of that. Now in the second, now how we are getting this element type? We are getting this element type using element dot get class dot get simple name. So using this functionality, you can understand that which type of element we are putting that in the object array. So from that we are getting this string 2D array of string, okay, and then we are passing out the string values, what is the first location of that 2D array string, and passing out its value. Similarly, in the third and last iteration, we have provided an integer array, not the string array this time, which is a 3D array, okay, and it's printed out its value, okay. Now, so the crux of this array part here is that it is so much flexible that within the array you can store multiple dimensional array, okay. So this is the one beautiful part of the Java arrays, which provide you functionality and which you can use, which many people use in the while building the software to store the specific type of data, okay. So this store a multi-dimensional array in a single array is something, a unique aspect of a Java. Okay, now so I think it's already 8, and array list will take its own hour of time kind of thing. So I will merge this array list with the linked list in the next Tuesday session. Okay, so let me just briefly tell what we have seen till now. So we have seen how we can initialize or declare the array in a different ways. Okay, then what we can since array comes a part of Java collection, so with the java.util.array, okay, it comes at the java.util.array, java.util.arrays. Now with this arrays you can do multiple, you can get multiple functionalities such that you don't have to write the code much. So this array dot string, yes,
So util dot star will cover everything.
yeah, I just wrote it for the understanding sake. And ideally, it's good to practice that whatever the functions that you're using from the util package or any other package, just use that. You don't have to import all the other packages, because it will load the memory. So if I just write java.util.star, okay, so all the functions classes are present with java.util.star, it will be loaded in the main memory as well. So it's not a good practice to do that. So that's the one reason. Okay, and since it's an IntelliJ IDE or Eclipse IDE, it will usually take care of that aspect, so we don't have to think much about it. But it's still, if you're using a text editor and you want to import certain things, it's better. It's always a good advice to not import all the classes. Okay, from that package only import those classes which you needed in the class in your code. Okay. Now, so with the Java collection, you get some functionality called like toString, then array.fills, that is one, then copy to copy the array, then sort to sort the array. It's happen in ascending order. Then another one is binary search to find the element, okay, with certain condition that it has to be sorted and all that. So few functionalities already present, multiple functionality present, where you don't have to write the code again from scratch. Okay, so in array list also we will see this kind of functionalities coming from the Java collection. Then we have look at the variable argument part, where with the three dots we can pass multiple arguments of different varying size, even though we have asked for one single text list, uh, but still I can pass the argument of zeros, like I can pass argument of no argument with one argument, two argument, or more arguments. So that is one multiple variable argument and then we have discussed the multiple dimensionality of an array and multiple ways in which you can print an array, and also within the array you can single array also you can store the arrays of multiple dimensionality that we have seen in the last as a last example. Okay, so that's what covers for the array as of now. That's a brief description of the array uh, class and the functionality that Java provides for this. In the next session, the next Tuesday, we'll talk about array list and the linked list part of the Java.
Sir,
Yes.
there are two employees. One employee project one, project two, project three. Second employee I am doing the same project, except the first one change. How we will write, sir?
Okay. Again, can you tell me?
First list is having project
List
three,
or array?
project one,
List or array?
list of arrays.
List of.
Project one, project two, project three for employee one.
Okay, so int array and so let's say employee.
Yes, sir.
And
First three projects here giving.
So you.
Project one, yes, sir.
So what is a project one?
Project two, project three, sir.
Okay.
Second employee we are giving project 2 and 3 he has to do it, but instead of project 1 he has to do another project, project 4.
Okay, so let's look at to this one more time. So this is project 1, project 2, that is one
Yes,
way.
sir.
I
Whether
think
we have to copy or we have to
just a minute. So this is one array, this is one employee, and I have project, second employee has project 4, project 3, and
project 2 and 3.
project 2 and 3.
Yes, sir.
Now what do you want?
Whether we have to copy this and do it or how to do it. We
Like-
have to copy the first one and change how to change the first.
Okay, first let me clarify a few things. Is it a 2-day array are you talking about, or this employee 1 and employee 2
Single
are
array, sir. Single
single?
array.
Okay, these are two single
I'm
arrays.
just talking about an array, sir, not a
Okay, okay, fine. Now, what do you want to change in the employee 1 if you want to change something?
the employee one I want to copy it and
Huh.
change the first element.
Okay, copy it to where? Into a new array or?
New array, that means you will get again project 1, project 2, project 3.
Exactly.
But I want to change that project 1 to 4.
Yeah, that's fine. So if that is the
Easy, no, sir?
so if that is the case, so let's say uh, int new array equal to uh, arrays copy of, let's say, employee. Okay, and now you want to change the only the first element. So
Yes,
you
yes, sir.
so you just say new array square brackets the first element location index, which is 0, and then here you can specify the what is the project 1 to 4. Instead of project 1 you want to take to project 4. So this is,
Yes, sir.
so considering it's a int or string, or I should say string mostly in this case, so
Yes, yes, sir.
that's how you can change it.
So simple, sir.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions with respect to
Yes,
this
sir.
array?
That means there are two arrays, no, sir. Which are the two arrays?
uh, I haven't created the second array, so let's me do that. String,
Employee 1, there is one array, no, sir. Employee 2, there is one.
yeah, employee 2 I haven't wrote it, so new string, and then I will have project 5, project 6, kind of like that. Okay, so what we are just doing is using arrays.copy of, we are copying the employee 1, okay, employee 1, and then we are storing that in a new array, that the name of the variables itself is new array, and there if you want to change the particular project name, then you can go to that index and then you can do that.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Thank you. Got it, sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, the array which you have made just now and the last array,
Mm-hmm.
will it refer to the same memory location as you had explained before?
Same memory locations of the array that we have created. This one, the let's say the array 1 is there. I'm highlighting right now on my screen. So it's a 2D string array. So which location you are memory location you are asking specifically for?
So in previous example, you had taken an array and you had created a copy, and then you had told that they will give reference towards the same memory location.
Okay. So that is like this. Uh, so I have an int array 5. I have created another array, but I'm not created be using the new int functional syntax. I just passing the my int array like that. So it creates just so it will not create a new array for this. It just point that this another array will just point to the memory location of my int array. Uh, like this. Let's say I am hoping you are asking for this part, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, but if you want to create a new memory location for another array, you have to define it like new int 5 or something like that.
Sir, then the example you had explained last in the video, the last example you had explained just now,
Uh-huh.
then it will refer to the same memory or it will create a different memory for the employee to the last example you had explained.
Yeah. So the employee 2 here, it will create, since I'm doing an array dot copy of, right? It will create a new memory location. So array will be created in a new memory location. So here the new, if I change something to the array, it will not change uh, new array. It will not change directly to the employee. So for example, hmm, I think it will be there with this. Okay, so let's look at this part. So uh, okay, so line number 20 to 28. Okay, so we create a random array, okay, for the third array, and we then using arrays dot copy of, we copy the third array into the fourth array. Okay, now what we are doing, we are sorting the array, fourth array, not the third array, okay, in ascending order. Now our task is to see that whether the changes happen done on fourth array will it reflect on third array or not, right? Is that problem, this part of problem is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me comment few things and let's try to run. Okay, so let's discuss now. So these are the four lines, last four lines I'm highlighting right now in the output. Let's discuss that part. Okay, so now using the random get random array, we have created the third array. So I'm highlighting the round right now. It's a third array. Okay, now line number 23, arrays dot copy of from third array to fourth array. So now because you are copying it off right now, because of this, it will create a new memory for the fourth array. Now instead of that, if I just write int fourth array equal to third array, then it will not create a new copy. Then this line number 23, will be as same condition as what we are seeing in this code. This another array referencing to the same array of my int array. Okay. but because of copy of the fourth array will get a new memory location. Okay, it will get a new memory location. So how do we know that it's new memory location? Because if when I'm sorting the fourth array, I'm printing the fourth array first, so it is printing the sorting in a proper format, that is 6, 18, 26, 28, 45 in the ascending order. But the third array doesn't get affected by it. Okay, so let's do one more thing. So what I will do is I will just comment the line number 25, that is array.copy, and I will just reference it like this, int fourth array, and I'm just creating a reference variable of that, and then I'm sorting the fourth array. Okay, so ideally what should happen here, that both the arrays should get it affected by it. So let's run this part. Now you can see that initial third array was like this. Okay, the fourth array also became like this because we are just referencing the same array. Okay, but when I saw the fourth array, its answer also, the values also reflect in the third array as well. But in the earlier example, when you do copy of, it doesn't. So that's why from that you can infer that when you're doing arrays.copy of, the fourth array is getting a new memory location. Do you think you're satisfied with the answer?
Yes, sir. Sir, can it also be called as mutable as in the concept of Python, that both are
Yes, the concept of mutable immutable will come is there, but again the thing is, in mutable aspect you have to understand in a very simple terms, arrays, you can change the values in the arrays, okay, but you can't delete the array, you can delete the element from the array, that is not allowed, but in array list it is allowed. So that's the new that is a concept will in which will come in the next session, but array is mutable.
okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, one small help, sir. I want to copy the third element in the third array to the fourth, only third element.
Can you come again? Third element of what?
Third element of third array.
Third element of third
On
array.
the fourth array. On the fourth array. Other things I need not copy. There are two arrays, sir. I
Huh.
have two different arrays.
Huh.
I want to copy the particular element in the first array to the second array.
Okay, so for that, only particular elements if you want from specific array, okay,
Yes, sir.
then you have to just type it out only one single element. Then if you know the index of that, so let's say third array, that is 26 here.
Yeah, third element.
So third array is, in this case, is 26 is present at third array, that the index number is, sorry, is 2, my bad. So and then you can store in one variable, so let's say int var1, and you can store it like this. If you want for fourth array, so int var2. From fourth array also, if you want that from a specific index, let's say 38, okay, that is 38 is at index 5, that is the sixth position. You can do like this, and then you can create a new array out of that. Is it clear or something else you expected?
No, but outcome I can see, sir.
I haven't typed it up because I have to write down much more. But this is what it will happen, right? I so what you're asking specific element for that. That means you should know the position of that element.
Yes, sir.
So once you know that, you can store that into any variable.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That is variable one, sir. And in variable two, how you?
Same in variable to 38. That is 38 on the fourth array. I want the position of value of 38. I just only want that. So I just took that value. So this is where the square brackets come into picture. The square brackets
No,
and Yeah.
Yes,
What?
sir. I want that to be moved to the other row, sir, other array. Sir, I wrongly put mark for instead of Ramesh, I have put for Suresh. Now I want to change it to Ramesh.
Okay, so you want that position, this 38 value in the position of the third array. Third
Yes,
array,
sir.
second position.
Yes,
Third
sir.
position. Okay. So in that case, if we want to do that, uh, so if we know that it is, uh, so this is called swapping part basically.
Yes,
So
sir.
so array, third array 2, there is a second position you want to do that. So you take the value of uh, fifth position, sixth position, that is 38 in this case, and it will, you can store it directly on top of the array 2. So it will replace the 26 with 38 value.
Okay, sir. Let us see it next time when you do it. So
No, it will
it
work
works
for
out.
sure. This is this part of swapping is there. So yeah,
Okay. We will try for it.
yeah, sure. Okay, any other question?
Thank you very much. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Okay, so in that case, I will stop the sharing, and thank you everyone for coming for this today's session. So I will end the session today. So next session will happen the next Tuesday, 6 to 8. Okay, thank you so much. I'm ending the call for everyone.